Hello, my dear students. Welcome to my class. I, Dr. Swati Pandya, welcomes you. In previous session, we have learned about the female reproductive parts, the female reproductive ducts, the importance of ovary, oviducts, uterus, cervix, vagina. Only one portion was remaining, that is external genitalia. So all these parts, they are situated in the pelvic region, which we have discussed in earlier session. Today we are going to start this last portion regarding female reproductive parts, that is female external genitalia. So that portion which is observable, that is included in external genitalia. These few structures, they are included like mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen and clitoris. Let us define individually one by one. Firstly, mons pubis, it is a cushion of fatty tissue which is covered by skin and pubic hair. Then followed by mons pubis, we are following the portion which is followed, that is labia majora. It is a fleshy folds of tissue which extends down from the mons pubis and surround the vaginal opening. This portion is followed by labia minora. It is also a paired fold of tissue under labia majora. Then comes another structure. The opening of vagina is often covered by partially by a membrane. This membrane is called hymen. It is very transparent membrane. Lastly, clitoris. It is tiny finger-like structure which lies at the upper junction of two labia minora above the urethral opening. So all these structures, they are related to external genitalia. Here, one more thing I wanted to tell you. The hymen often torn during the first coitus or intercourse, but sometimes it is broken by some of the heavy exercises or even horse riding, cycling, sports, or any other such type of activity. Let us see another important part which is known as mammary glands. Actually, this word, it is important identification for all the mammals. Human being is also included in this group, Mammalia, and this is the peculiar identification, the presence of mammary gland. It is present in both male and female individual, but it is functional in female mammals. So here we will discuss what is the functionality of mammary gland, how it works, what is the major structure, and so on. So this structure, it is showing the particular regions, different regions, and the importance of mammary gland. So the major importance we all know, just to feed the young one. So mother's milk, that is very important for development of newborn baby. So it is um, secreted through the glands which are known as mammary glands, which is located here. So actually they are paired structure. They are also known as breast, that contain glandular tissue and some amount of fat. It may vary, the fat content may vary. So this is the fatty, so these are fatty structures. You can see here, these are fat, here also fat, and in between also. So almost pinkish color structure, they are showing the fatty tissues. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes, which contain clusters of cell which are known as alveoli. Actually, alveoli word is regarding related to respiratory system, but we can compare this structure just alveoli of respiratory system, that means lungs. So sac-like structure, actually this is comparable to sac-like structure. Here also these mammary alveolus, you can just see So this is showing the alveoli. So these round sac-like structures, they are alveoli. Alveoli is a plural word and alveolus is a singular word. So here many mammary lobes, they contain clusters of alveoli. Here in this diagram, this is one lobe, this is another lobe, another lobe. So almost 4 to 5 lobes they are appeared in this diagram, mammary lobes. So in each mammary lobe, the clusters of alveoli, they are present. The cells of alveoli actually secretes milk which is stored in the cavities. Cavities are the lumen of alveoli. So the alveoli open into mammary tubules. So here are the mammary tubules, actually the ducts. So from each and every alveoli, within these ducts, the milk is secreted. Then it joins to the ampulla region, then to the lactiferous ducts, and it opens outside through nipple. So we can see these descriptive features in diagrammatic form. So these tubules of each lobe join to form mammary duct, as I've explained you right now. So this is the description and this is the mammary duct. So these are tubular part from where actually this structure, it can be comparable to the structure of salivary glands. Same type of understanding we can uh, compare here. Several mammary ducts also join to form a wider mammary ampulla, which is connected to lactiferous duct, through which milk is sucked out. So last portion is lactiferous ducts, which is at the tip of this nipple. It opens here. So this was the detailed structure regarding mammary glands. So here we are completing the female reproductive system. In last session we have completed today. The two portions were left. So we have completed right now about external genitalia and mammary glands. Now next topic, we will be learning the detail of gametogenesis. So formation of gametes we will include. Firstly, we will start with male gamete formation. So here this diagram, it is showing the sectional view of seminiferous tubules. Previously also I told you about this diagram. In cut section of testes, the tubular seminiferous tubules, they are arranged, and these developmental stages, they are easily observed. So let us familiar with the terms first, starting with here. Though the diagram is like this, so we are not starting with this particular term, but from bottom to top. So this will be showing, this will be the first stage, then second, third, fourth and fifth, like this. So first important term is spermatogonium. Here it is shown. It is a singular word, but in plural we can call them spermatogonia. So this is singular spermatogonium, but there are many spermatogonia, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, they are shown here. So every spermatogonium, it is showing its developmental stage. If you observe this, it will change to another structure serially, one above the other. So in this manner we have to observe. So starting with spermatogonium, then the primary spermatocyte, then secondary spermatocyte, then spermatids, and lastly spermatozoa. So in this pattern, the developmental stages will be observed. So each and every line, it will be moving like this. So the developmental stages from bottom to top. And lastly, this will be the structures which we call them sperms. In between, Sertoli cells are there. Even interstitial tissue will be present. So starting the detail, actually the primary sex organ, that is testes, we all know in the males, and ovaries in the female. and they will produce sperm and ovum. And right now we are discussing only about spermatogenesis, that is the formation of sperms, which is occurring in testes in males. Okay, so in testes, the immature male germ cells, which are known as spermatogonia, produces sperm by spermatogenesis, which begins at puberty. So the onset of reproductive activity, that we call puberty. So after puberty only, the process of formation of sperms will start. We all know in the adolescence age, in the teen age, the puberty will start, and the girls, they get matured earlier as compared to boys. So in boys, a little later, the sexual puberty stage will be attained. Next point is regarding spermatogonia. Here, the spermatogonia present on the inside wall of seminiferous tubules multiply by mitotic division. So, firstly, the mitotic division will take place. So, we all know mitosis, same number of chromosomes will be seen in the offsprings, means daughter cells, and even the number from one parent cell, the two daughter cells will be produced. So here the spermatogonia present on the inside wall of seminiferous tubule, they multiply by mitotic division, and also they increase in number, because as I have said to you, from one parent cell two are produced. So definitely they will increase in number. So this is spermatogonia, and here which type of process will be going on? Mitosis. Okay. Each spermatogonium is diploid and contains 46 chromosomes. So 46 chromosome, if it is present, it is also known as 23 pairs. So this condition is known as diploid condition. Pairing of chromosomes is present, it is diploid condition. Some of the spermatogonia, called primary spermatocytes, periodically undergo meiosis. So this is primary spermatocyte, and now onward the meiosis will start, and meiosis occurs only in reproductive cells, we all know. So here the testes is a reproductive organ, and definitely the meiosis will occur in reproductive cells. And now this primary spermatocyte, it will go undergo meiosis and give rise to, firstly the first meiotic division will be preferred, and then second meiotic division will be done. So first meiotic division is always reductional division. So this primary spermatocyte completes the first meiotic division, leading to formation of two equal haploid cells. Now the chromosome number has become half. That's why diploid condition has changed to haploid condition, and now secondary spermatocytes are developed. So from primary spermatocytes, secondary spermatocytes are formed due to meiosis. So they have only 23 chromosome in each cell, not 23 pair, but here we are calling 23 chromosome. Now secondary spermatocyte undergo second meiotic division to produce 4 equal haploid spermatids. So due to meiosis process, the primary spermatocyte give rise to 4 spermatids. These spermatids now transformed into spermatozoa. So directly spermatids are not known as sperms. Actually certain transformations, certain changes are made, then only the sperms are produced by the process known as spermiogenesis. So spermiogenesis can be defined as when the spermatids, they are transformed into spermatozoa, the process is known as spermiogenesis. There are very similar terms. You get easily confused. So do write down all the things, revise them properly. Then only you can remember and recall the proper terms. Okay, after spermiogenesis, the sperm head becomes embedded in the Sertoli cells and are finally released from seminiferous tubules by the process called spermiation. That is the release of matured sperms. But the structure of sperm, firstly, we have to um, learn them, and that we will continue in our next session. Before that, the process which we have understood right now about gametogenesis or spermatogenesis, let us again revise in this chart form. So now we are starting from top to bottom. We are going like this because arrow is showing like this. So firstly, starting with spermatogonia or spermatogonium, as I have said to you, this is plural word. Spermatogonium is a singular word. After puberty only, this spermatogonium, by the process of mitosis, it will give rise to, first of all, one cell produces two cells. Again, mitosis give rise to 2 and 2. So total 4 cells, means they are increasing in number. Okay, this term we have used earlier. So they increase in number. So here they are diploid, they have 2n number of chromosome and give rise to primary spermatocytes. Primary spermatocytes are also 2n in number. That means they have 46 chromosomes or 23 pair of chromosomes. Then these primary spermatocytes, they undergo meiosis. So first meiotic division will give rise to secondary spermatocyte, and we all know first meiotic division is a reductional division. So 2n number of chromosome directly converted to n number of chromosome, that is haploid condition. So here it give rise to these 2 with half the number of chromosomes. Again the process will be continued because second meiotic division will take place and it will give rise to these 4 haploid cells. So this parent cell will give rise to these 4 haploid cells. So this is second meiotic division. So now secondary spermatocyte give rise to spermatids. They are also having n number of chromosomes. Then transformation occurs. Right now we have understood the spermiogenesis will take place. So this spermiogenesis, here spermatid will be converted into the spermatozoa or sperm, right? Due to differentiation. So transformation occurs. So they are changed to such type of structure. So 4 spermatozoa they are formed. Now this is the enlarged view of this sperm. We will be going to study in detail afterwards, but just have a look how they look like. Actually they are comprising of this is comprising of 3 portions. This is round head portion, then middle portion, and lastly this tail is helpful in movement of sperm because sperm will travel into the female genital tract and then they fertilize the ovum there in the female's body. So up to that they require movement, and tail will helpful in movement to travel up to their goal. So in this way today we have discussed many things regarding female reproductive structures also, like external genitalia as well as the detail of mammary glands. And right now we have completed with gametogenesis, in that only spermatogenesis we have completed, which occur in testes. The remaining gametogenesis process is still there, that we will discuss in next session, which will be oogenesis, and there we will discuss how the ovum that is developed. So today we are ending our topic here only. Please continue your revision, continue your writing work. All the things, all the diagram charts, they are important to draw in classwork. So please follow my instructions. Even this chapter is important for your further unit test. So revise it properly. Till then, take care. Bye bye, students.